Hi, I'm Matthew Thayer, and I'm here to talk about smart robots. The first robots were introduced into the auto industry in the early 1960s. Today, we're on the verge of a second industrial revolution, or as I like to call it, the robotic revolution. And what do you visualize when you think of smart robots? Do you think of a humanoid-like creature, or something that looks like R2-D2, pair of grippers maybe, or a little mini butler here, whatever this thing is that rolls around, serves you drinks, whatever it may be, you may think of any one of these. Now, what is a smart robot? A smart robot is a smarter, better, more efficient robot. It can perform more versatile jobs that are typically required by humans, things that require more critical thinking and problem solving. They can more so mimic human behavior, artificial intelligence, and they have the ability to learn. Now, how are these robots becoming smarter? First, there's deep learning. This is a system of computer processors that mimic the neurons inside the human brain. These deep learning algorithms are a way of robotic perception. They allow a robot to teach itself a simple task, such as screwing a bottle cap onto a bottle. Another technique is cognitive psychology, or in other words, artificial intelligence. This reverse engineers the human brains and allows for robots and humans to collaborate. They share a similar mental model between the two, which allows them to work side by side. And this can ultimately harness the strength of both the robots and humans and allow for them to be more productive than they are when it's one or the other. So what are the disadvantages of smart robots? First off, there's job displacement. Job displacement isn't necessarily the loss of jobs, it's more so the movement of jobs from one job to another. For example, if you have a worker on an assembly line doing a simple task and his job gets replaced by a robot. Well, now you need somebody to maintain that robot and program that robot. So the line worker may be losing his job, but then it's creating another job. So it's merely displacing that job. The job isn't lost. Another concern is de-skilling. What happens with de-skilling is when an operation is programmed into a robot that replaces a worker, that operation is now in that machine. That means that worker no longer provides that operation, and that can cause a loss of skill when it comes to workers, which can ultimately cause a loss of intelligence because of the loss of skill. Psychological studies have proven that workers that work with their hands can strengthen their memory better by working with their hands, but with the loss of the skill in these robots, that can cause them to be de-skilled or dumbed down. Another concern is the rise of the robots, and I'm not talking about the Terminator. I'm talking about technology being able to devastate entire industries and the job market. Stephen Hawking even said full artificial intelligence could spell the end of the human race. He's not talking about the Terminator. He's talking about technology just devastating our industries and our job market. And it won't necessarily cause us humans to be extinct, not kill all humans type of thing, as you'd see in the Terminator. No, he's talking about causing us to be more so redundant. Up to 47% of U.S. jobs are being risk of being computerized. This is the robotic revolution. Now, what are some of the advantages of smart robots? Like the disadvantage of job displacement, it is also an advantage. It may displace lesser skilled jobs. However, it opens up new jobs and skills that allow us to grow. It opens up more opportunities, and it'll give us more free time to be innovative. Another advantage is cost and productivity. The cost of labor will ultimately exceed the cost to automate, and businesses that tend to avoid automation ultimately lose money to companies that are being fully automated, that become more productive than they are, more cost efficient, allowing them to offer goods that are better and cheaper to the consumers than the companies that aren't automating. Another advantage is safety monitoring. With the smarter robots coming into factories, they're going to have more sensors and cameras monitoring the presence of humans around them. So if a human comes close to a smart robot, the robot can sense that the human is there. He can slow down production and even stop production to save that worker's life. Now, what are some potential roadblocks of smart robots? First off, can they understand us? The answer is no. They struggle mightily with being able to process the human language. They don't have the ability to process specific lines of word unless they are programmed to do so. Such as, you tell a robot to heat up some water, they're going to come back with a series of questions, such as, what is water? Where do you get it? What can you put it in? What does heat up mean? What other objects do you need to do this? This is the ultimate human-machine barrier. However, there is research being done known as grounding. Grounding connects words to objects and actions within the real world. And this robot training must improve before it can really be used in the real world. So we still have a long way to go before we can fully utilize smart robots. Another thing that arises is ethical issues. Are you willing to give up your privacy for better treatment? A smart system might be in a hospital that's going to have medical records and be able to provide doctors with answers and better treatments to be able to treat their patients. Well, this is all going to be composed within that system. Now, that system could be at risk for security and privacy. Are you willing to give up that security and privacy for better health care? Some people might, some people won't. Another issue arises, such as driverless cars. Who's liable for an accident? You have a car that's just driving on its own, it gets in an accident. Who's liable? Is it the insurance company, the car producer, or the driver? These are all issues that are going to have to be worked out within the legal system. However, the disadvantage to it is technology is changing faster than legislation. My recommendation is that ultimately the advantages trump the disadvantages. We can overcome the barriers in the long run and be able to better utilize smart robots. And we'll be able to incorporate and ultimately save money and produce goods at a cheaper cost, which could then offer them at a cheaper cost to the consumers. And this will ultimately be beneficial versus trying to fight it, because technology, it's a driving force. There's no stopping it. So we might as well go with the flow and utilize as much of this technology as we can. That is the ultimate best course of action for any company today.